I would.
Fuck this duck.
Okay, we're everyone ready to fuck the duck?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, take us
Ready to
down.
frig the dig.
Welcome back. Today we're fucking a duck. We are going to be discussing the best tool or weapon or item or firearm or duck or whatever it is. Like this is some kind of like object that we really enjoyed using, more from like a functional perspective. So my number three, I need to explain it like a little bit to like fully emphasize this, but it is the Gambler's Coin from Unicorn Overlord.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So the way Unicorn Overlord works is it's kind of like a strategy RPG where you have your units like your kind of special hero units like a Fire Emblem or something, except you put them into squads between 1 and 6 units. From there, you can get in and basically program their behaviors to make them attack in certain patterns, react to different things different ways. So like if enemy has a flying unit, this unit prioritizes this move. If unit has armored unit, it does this move. Gambler's Coin is an object that before your next ally or one of your allies attacks, it gives them plus 30% attack and plus 50% critical damage, but less than 50% accuracy. The fun thing to do with this is to make a unit of like the 3 Swordmaster classes, give them all Gambler's Coins, and then give them all like guaranteed to hit moves. So it'll start off the attack, someone will proc a Gambler's Coin, they'll do an attack that's guaranteed to hit, and it's going to hit like a fucking freight train because it can't miss. Then the next one will proc off the next one's Gambler's Coin and kind of just like go like that and just make this like tip of the spear that you can just throw at shit and deal a fuck ton of damage. Uh, it's solving the kind of like puzzle of how to make that item work most effectively is, I just think, really a good example of how cool Unicorn Overlord's combat is, and like the single most like encapsulating item for it. So I really quite like it. But Ryan, what is your number three item? Oh, cool. The Zoom recording for the last one's done.
Neat. Is this one recording?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one's been recording.
Cool. I think if this was earlier on, like in like the first 2 years of us doing this Game of the Year thing, it probably would have won, maybe even swept, but it was released in 2024 and it's a different gaming landscape. But the Pepper Grinder from Pepper Grinder.
Oh my God, what a perfect way to describe that.
A pepper grinder?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
A game, no, but what I mean is like a game like if it came out 6 years ago would have been like a 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Oh, man. Those are the words I've been looking for.
It's pretty satisfying to use, just drilling through the ground. They've built a whole game around it. And yeah, it's a cool, neat little thing that you don't really see. I feel like you don't really see much in games like that anymore, where you've built an entire game around the tool or weapon.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's fun. It's a big old drill that you're drilling through stuff, and it leads to some interesting and really frustrating platforming. But it's cool little thing.
The Game of the Year discussion longs for a Shovel Knight. We just want to dig in the dirt.
Best dirt
Lily,
digging game of 2024.
Next year, baby. It's the return, the 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
Lily.
Yeah.
What is your number three weapon or
My
tool?
number three is the portal ability. I didn't have the foresight to go and look at what it's actually called. But
you
from
tell me what
Prince of
game it's in?
Persia,
Okay.
yeah, where you like lay down a portal and then you can go and fuck with things and then you just hit a button to zip back to where you were before. Very good, very good. A lot of fun to end up trying every other ability I had, only to realize, oh, it's the best one, of course. That happened a lot, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Like it's really cool the way you can use it to like get through like platforming and like puzzle segments where like the use of it is like very obvious in those where it's like, oh yeah, the spikes are coming at you, you need to warp there. But it's like that mental, like when it clicks into place for the way you're supposed to use it in like combat encounters to be able to like it's not like required to beat a boss, but use it to just like negotiate around the battlefield,
Yeah.
to either set up your own attacks or to, get away from your opponent. It's really cool the way it works in both situations.
Yeah. Well, and realizing it was the right tool to use during the like time trial areas
Hmm.
was good.
Time
I
trials.
definitely tried all of the other abilities that I had before I realized or remembered that there was a button that did that.
It is quite cool.
Quite cool.
Jason, what is your ability from Prince of Persia that is making number 3?
Not making number 3. We'll talk about it later.
What did you mean by this?
This was probably my hardest category to nail down this year. There were a lot of cool weapon tool items and whatnots. So I decided to go with more things I enjoyed than things that I felt were like useful or important when I had to make some cuts. So my number 3 was the map from Indiana Jones. Like
yeah.
as soon as you pull the map out and see that it's like a map in your hands and not like a pause screen that stops your game, and you can walk around with the map out and follow along where you need to go without having to like pause, see if I need to go this way, and then unpause and then do it. That like as soon as I pulled the map out and saw that, I paused the game and like pulled out my game of the year list and wrote it down as something I was probably going to include. And then it stuck with me throughout the game. My only complaint is that it doesn't work when you're on the boat, and that was pissed me off a lot.
That's why it's more like Suxotai.
I think when
that was
one of you said something that like people think Vatican's the worst area, and it's like, fucking, did you finish this game?
I said that's what I had heard a lot of people
Okay.
say.
The idea that anyone would say that.
But yeah, I thought that part was fine. I mean, driving the boat around sucked, but I didn't do any of the side stuff in that area. I just mainlined it, and I thought it was fine. Like I thought the puzzles and stuff in that area were good.
No part of that game is bad.
I didn't like Big Snake.
Big Snake.
Big Snake.
But yeah, it was really annoying that it didn't work on the boat, because I feel like in the game that was the part where I wanted it to work the most, because navigating the swamp in the boat was pretty annoying sometimes. But yeah, I really thought that was unique. I'm sure other games have obviously done it, but that's the first time I can remember seeing it, where you just hold a map in your hand and can look at the map while maneuvering the level. And I just thought it was really cool.
Minecraft.
I didn't realize until last night that it didn't pause the game.
That's true.
So I was halfway through an area, like I pulled up the map and I was like tabbing through the menus, and like some dude walked in the tent I was hiding in. So I'm like looking through the menus and I hear like, oh, there he is. And I'm like, oh fuck.
There was a moment where I was looking at like a newspaper clipping or whatever, and as I was reading it, an NPC came by and he just like phased through me, but Indy like moved the newspaper clipping like up and out of the way, and then they just passed, and he was like,
they thought of everything.
It's good gaming. Hunter, what cat is your number 3 weapon or tool?
Well, that was Phoebe. That one, this is I don't know if you guys have heard of this game. It's called Caves of Kud.
Oh, is it cool? Is that game good?
It is really neat.
It has at least one cool item in it.
Well,
I put it on here because I didn't realize it had hit 1.0 in December, because I had played it when it was early access.
I really wanted to fuck with it.
So maybe it's changed by now. I don't know. But I put the cloning fluid from it, where there are these, you can find it some other places, but there are these, they're called Ichor merchants, where they sell fluids and stuff. And there's a rare chance for them to have cloning fluid just in a little glass vial. And there's a few uses of cloning fluid you can do. You can find these like regeneration tube things that are full of this liquid called convalescence. And if you put cloning fluid in there too, and you get in there, you can regrow lost limbs. Or the thing I used it most for is you can pour it on merchants, and it'll make a clone of them who then also have an inventory of wares you can buy. So then if you pour it on an Ichor merchant, there are now then 2 Ichor merchants that both have a chance of having more cloning fluid that you can buy and then pour onto the clones So you can end up with like clone of a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone of an
I'm
Ickerman.
so into that.
That's so cool.
Fucking hey.
I want to try that game.
It's pretty neat. But like I said, I haven't really played it much since it hit 1.0 because I was just like, I saw it like popped up on my Steam homepage and it's like now available. It's like, what do you
Because
mean
it's like
not
it's like a
available? It's been-
Dwarf Fortress like thing, right?
It's a roguelike where like I think the only things that don't change are the locations of specific cities, but then
Okay.
everything else is procedurally generated and different each run.
Okay. Yeah, I heard great things about it. I really want to fuck with that. But
Wow.
hit 1.0 in December.
Hi.
Danny, what is your number
Yes.
3 item?
My number 3 item
No,
is the cat suit in Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah, it is one of the many outfits you get. It's one of the few that actually gives you an additional ability,
Oh,
and this ability is to talk to the cats in Hyrule.
Based.
Yeah. So
That's all I ever
there's-
wanted.
yeah, it's
did
honestly
they-
like
do any of them say me? Wow.
I don't think I encountered one that
My
says
game
that,
has
but I mean,
outfits.
yeah, the
Wait.
game has out.
Didn't you beat that game?
Yeah, it's clearly very memorable. Are they?
Yeah.
Are outfits integral to the gameplay?
Clearly
I
not.
mean,
Not since you beat it
There-
with memory.
There is a story significant part where they, excuse me, make a fairly big deal of giving you a new outfit.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, yeah, that part. But
Yeah,
I'm
then-
looking at pictures of Zelda wearing a cat suit, and I definitely didn't see this shit anywhere in that game.
Jason, that's pornography.
Jason went to
Please
Rule
put it away.
34.
Some of these I will save for later.
Like, were there a
Oh.
lot of other ones?
Not there weren't a ton of outfits. I think there were
Okay.
10 in total. The cat suit is integral to a couple of side quests,
Huh.
but yeah, because you need to communicate with the cats sometimes. They're everywhere and
As
they
one
see lots of
does.
things.
Jason's never
Yeah.
played a video game.
Yeah,
Jason's not
he
getting
just
making all
puts all
this
this
up.
stuff. He just put it in
Jason's
an
not getting
AI.
any of that pussy.
Yeah, no, the cat suit was a wonderful little touch that the cats that you talk to are they got cat personality down in the dialogue just right. Like they're aloof, they're bitchy, they're also like very sweet and cuddly and like no, they're perfect cats, every one of them. And I love talking to them. So
Alrighty then.
I like
New category
cats.
for best thing Jason doesn't know about in a game he played.
And finished.
So my number 2, and I'm realizing like as I looked at all these, like all of these I think require a little bit of explanation to them. This also was my number 1 until about 2 minutes ago when I changed it to my number 2. But okay, so year and a half ago or so, Destiny had like a really, really like major bug in it where it allowed people
Called the
to
game.
you have no idea.
Oh.
That's a different conversation. That game is so fucking broken right now. There was a bug that basically allowed people to fuse guns together. So you'd end up with something like, oh, this is a sniper rifle that shoots swords, or this is a machine gun that shoots rockets, or
Oh, so they
I
let
decided
you
that
have
was too
fun.
fun.
here's an
But yeah,
SMG
they
that shoots
took a ton
arrows.
away.
They kept it in
You don't
for
want
a
to be
week.
Borderlands.
They kept it in for a week and are basically like, okay, have your fun with this. We'll fix it next week. But they also said like, you've basically just given us ideas for the next 3 years of weapons we're gonna do. They put out maybe 3 months after that a new entire class of pistol called a rocket assisted sidearm, where basically it's a pistol but it shoots rockets. The gun was cool, like it had some cool abilities on it, but it was a very useful gun. I liked it a lot. But this year they introduced what I would say is cracking that idea wide open with a rocket assisted sidearm called the Call. The way guns in Destiny work is you have two different like kind of columns of perks that you can roll on it, and this one just has an insanely cool like possibility space in it. It's the only gun that I have like multiple of with different rolls because it's worth it. One of them, whenever you deal damage or get kills with it, it recharges your grenade energy, and then you can throw a grenade to completely reload the gun. One of them, it flat out just has like seeker missiles. Um, there is another one that does like huge AoE like impacts underneath things. There's another one that deals more damage to bosses. Uh, s- I use this gun so goddamn much this year. It now comprises 10% of my lifetime Destiny kills. It's something like
Gamers crave Borderlands.
I got something like
Without playing
30
Borderlands.
30,000 kills with it this year. It's amazing. It's such a cool fucking gun, and it's not even like one of like the exotic super special guns, so you can still run like other cool weapons in your other slots. Fantastic, amazing weapon, and definitely the best thing to kind of come out of that kind of crafting weapon bug. But Ryan, what is your number 2?
I am going to invoke the Wii U gamepad clause, and I'm going to say Color Space from Llamasoft. It's one of the games included within a game, so I'm going to count it as an item, but it's probably just a game. But in the 80s or midway through Jeffrey Mentor's career, he decided to start making psychedelic visualizers. And so I use Color Space to do my own, like enhance my own visual arts stuff. So it is legitimately a tool I use in real life outside of video gaming. And that's where I would say 90% of my playtime from that game goes, is just going into Color Space and, you know, just playing around on Atari psychedelic visualizers.
Hell yeah.
Lily, what is a psychedelic visualizer that you're finding yourself using frequently?
Well, this game is not that far off. I put the frying pan from Arctic Eggs.
Pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's integral to the game. You can't fry an egg on Mount Everest without it, but it's so funny that it's just that same like Tefal non-stick frying pan that everybody's had in their kitchen at one point. And it's just, I love it. It's good fun.
There's no other way to fry a cigarette and a pizza
And a roach.
and a roach all at
I
the same
like the
time.
manta ray.
Yeah.
Jason, how would you fry a manta ray given the opportunity?
By slowing down time in Astrobot. My number 2 item or weapon or tool or whatnot is the clock stopper. Because I think all of those levels were probably some of the best levels in Astrobot.
Okay, I remember now.
I think there could have been 10 more time slowing levels in that game, and I would have eaten them all up. But instead we got
copy of Clock Stoppers.
But instead we got, I feel like, about 300 levels where the special ability is Rocket Dog Jump that nobody wants.
I think Rocket Dog Jump is fine.
Rocket Dog.
Yeah, but it got way too many levels. But no, I thought slowing down time was really fun. Like realizing that you needed to kill a certain enemy that's like hucking cards at you. You have to slow time and then jump up the cards to the enemy to kill them. And then like jumping up the falling poker chips just looked really, really good. So yeah, I thought that was it's not unique. It is not groundbreaking. Tons of games have done it, but I like it every time a game does it. Like, what if I made the game slow motion? Cool.
I'm shocked that it beat out what if you became tiny and everything else was normal size.
Yeah,
it was a close fight, but I think the thing that gave it the edge is that we only got one of those levels, so I didn't get to play with that ability enough.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest complaint about the game, is that we only got one let me get tiny, because I always love any time a game does that. But they just didn't do it enough, and we just got Rocket Dogged.
Rocket Dog's fine.
It's fine, but it's not as fun as slow in time or getting tiny.
Rocket Dogged, idiot.
very big proponents of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. in this
Hunter,
household.
tell me your rocket dog.
My number two
don't show
rocket
me.
dog of the year is the perfume bottles that they made as actual weapons in Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
there were some in the base game, but they were just like use items, kind of like the cracked pots and stuff. But then they decided, why don't we just make it a weapon? And then there's like 6 or 7 of them, and they're just really fun to actually use. And there was a glitch for a while where if you used the I think the lightning one, you could just melt Raton in like 2 seconds. So that was fun.
It's neat.
Yeah.
Danny, what is your number 2 perfume bottle?
My number 2 perfume bottle is from Zenless Zone Zero.
God damn it!
You can't say that every time I bring up this game. It's
Danny,
coming up.
did you play
Danny
anything
played
else?
3 games
setting
this
it, I'm
year.
setting it up to install on my PlayStation 5.
I've played about a dozen games this year.
9 of them sucked.
None of them.
No, but so in Zenless Zone Zero, one of your characters that you get early on, her name is Nicole. She is a support character, and her gun that she uses in combat is kind of clunky, and really it's only the special abilities with this gun that one automatically activate anytime you parry into her. She shoots black holes. Yeah.
The children yearn for Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, it's a black hole gun. Just you shoot these big swirling orbs that pull enemies into them, and I guess black hole isn't exactly the right word because you can move independently of them, and whenever you catch enemies in them, you can then swap into maybe like one of your sword characters and start zipping around and slashing up your enemies who are just trapped in this gravity well. And it's very fun to play with.
Big year for Wells on Danny's list.
Big year for Wells.
Well, that'll bring us back around to me
Nice.
for my number.
Nice.
Well.
I did not actually, not intentionally. I got one brain cell and it can only focus on one thing at a time.
And that's Wells.
So my number 1 is something I'm like positive I've brought up before, because I can't wait until this, especially when a game happens early in the year. But we all understand how a JRPG works, turn-based combat, etc., etc. What if your JRPG
The
brought
J
in
stands for Jason.
the J stands for Jason. Jason RPG. What if you had a character in a
All I'm playing
JRPG
this year.
who came from a real-time beat 'em up game but is now forced to be in a JRPG? The in-universe reason for why Kiryu cannot attack in real time anymore is because of his cancer weighing him down and making him like dying. However, his like ultimate ability, his like, build up and like his limit break basically puts him into real-time beat 'em up combat during JRPG fights. So it straight up just gives you like 25 seconds to do normal Yakuza combat. And it's amazing. It is one of the most brilliant things I have seen done in a game like this. Where just like, oh yeah, here, pop this meter, and you can take him back into his normal. Like you can do all your normal Yakuza moves, and just fucking clear out everyone, heat moves, etc. It's amazing. I was filled with so much glee when I got this ability. Just completely floored that this would even be an option that I could do, and it works so unbelievably well. And since all of the other characters that are on your team, they've only been in the JRPG games, it makes sense why they can't do this and why that's only a Kiryu ability.
That's neat.
Fucking fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about that forever. But Ryan, what is your number 1 item?
Number 1. Burger King foot lettuce.
John Carmack, tweet of the week.
I'm not much of a like Metroidvania head, so I don't know how prevalent this kind of thing is, but it's the first time I saw it. Hollow Knight fans bite your tongue. In Prince of Persia, when you can basically take a snapshot of an area you can't get through yet, so you can remember where it's at on the board and kind of like what you're dealing with, is really fucking cool.
If it makes you feel better, that's not in other games. That is a fucking Prince of Persia Lost Crown original. Nothing's done that.
Cool. It's amazing. Like,
it's so fucking cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, because not only does it like, it kind of clues you in on what you could be doing. It's a good way to remember stuff. And I kind of feel confident that I'm going to be able to hop back into that game after giving it some distance and kind of be able to make some sort of forward progress, even if I don't remember exactly what I'm doing. It's like, here's some shit you can do.
And it's such a good tool for people who are not like super entrenched in that genre. So like I didn't end up using it that much just because like I generally know how to interact with Metroidvanias, but like it being there is such a fucking cool thing. Like
I started to use it. Like I didn't use it a ton, but the few times I did remember that it was an ability I had actually did like come back to pay off way later in the game when I finally went back to that thing I took a picture of.
Hollow Knight, and I know a couple other games like do a similar system where you can like put a special marker on the map.
A picture's just better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just like now instead of like having to decipher a mental code of like, okay, well these kinds of markers indicate this does that. Yeah. Just take the fucking picture. It's so fucking cool. Oof.
That's my number one.
Yeah. What a great thing. Lily, what is your number one?
My number one, it was tough to choose from all of the options, but I picked the Peridolia Joker in Balatro.
Oh.
Where all cards are face cards. I had a ton of uses with it, a ton of wins with it this year. It's a great combo with the smiley face Joker. But yeah, it just ended up being super useful, great for royal flushes. Yeah.
I think
good game,
the
good
Jokers
Joker.
that like fundamentally rewrite the aspects of the cards and then how that then plays in with other Jokers. It's a really, really good one.
I had like earmarked like a Joker to put on this list, but I never went back through to actually like look at all the Jokers to choose which one I wanted to include. So then I just didn't end up including any of them.
Yeah, I just scrolled the wiki a few days ago and had to choose one.
Yeah,
like
that I put it on my notes, just a Joker from Balatro, and then just never went back and forgot to do it.
Yeah,
I had Hanging Chad penciled in for a bit.
Hanging Chad's great.
Yeah. Dash had said something about Hanging Chad in the chat recently, so I didn't want to say it in case it came up on his list.
Like, no,
it's a really good one.
It was a great year for weapons or tools.
But yeah, I like the face cards and the combos they bring.
Many cool Jokers.
Good times.
Jason, what is your number one that we now know is not a Joker?
Yep. So my number one is not a Joker. And it's also been mentioned already, and it's not really a tool or a weapon or an item, but an ability.
It's color space.
Oh, you fucking did Dragon's Resurgence also?
Yeah. It's Sargon's ability to freeze himself to like make a memory and zip back to it. Like in a position in a fight and then pop back behind the enemy or things like that was just really awesome. And then while you guys were talking about it earlier, I'm glad we all kind of felt the same and that we would forget that ability existed.
I did in a fight.
And then the second time I tried the fight, remember like, oh, that is obviously exactly what I need to do to get through this. And then I really liked it. And that one puzzle where you have to like make 3 copies of yourself timed to like hit a certain spot at the same time.
Yeah.
That puzzle I had a lot of fun with.
It's such a cool thing.
But yeah, I just think like, as you can see with 2 out of my 3 things being like time manipulation based, I really like when games do that.
It's Year of Time and Well.
Yeah.
Jason, I think you would like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Jason, you would love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Now is not the time.
Now is the time. There's never been a better time.
Jason, play Time Shift or Singularity.
Or Ratchet and Clank Futures a Kraken Time.
Or Time Splitters.
Or Time Splitters. Play Time Splitters
2 and 3.
Or read and watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Or read and watch JoJo's
Time
Bizarre
Splitters
Adventure
for years. I might even own Time Splitters.
Yeah, it went on sale for like $250 and we probably bugged you to buy it.
or you gifted it to me with one of your many gifts on Steam.
I
I don't know if
Never-
this happens to anyone else, but
No,
just
whenever I get an extra
I
code for Steam, I
just
just send
get-
it to Jason.
I just get random
Wow.
Steam codes constantly,
I mean,
and then
Dash sent me
in personal
Barista
messages.
Simulator earlier this year. After
Well, that's just funny.
But then I have
That
to,
game sucks.
I have to keep marking it as unread in Slack. Otherwise, I know I'll forget he sent them, and I don't want to not redeem them. And they're always really random shit. I mean, this last one were 4 different Oddworld games.
I can't use them. I
You'll
got
play 'em
every
someday.
Oddworld game for $1. Like,
Pretty good.
what
You're
if I need to
welcome.
play Soulstorm?
What if?
Hunter, what if you need to play Soulstorm?
My number one Soulstorm is the tactics menu in general from Unicorn Overlord. Just
Yeah.
because of how in depth you can get with it. Because, like you mentioned some stuff earlier, like you can set it up so where if there's a flying enemy that they use this move specifically on them. There's like beast races you can start getting later on that most of them have abilities that are either like strengthened or do some extra effect if it's nighttime. So you can set it so like if it's night, use this, or otherwise just use this attack and stuff like that. Or like I don't know. I was just when I started the demo, I was not expecting it to be as in depth as it ended up being. So it was a little overwhelming at first, but then you get used to it and you can start setting up some crazy shit like that gambler's coin thing Dash mentioned.
And it's a little tedious to do because like as you get new units, you're kind of, reconfiguring your squads, opening up new squads, doing things like that. But you also don't need to get that into it to just kind of clear the game. I think it's something that
Yeah.
like you'd have to optimize way more on like a harder difficulty. But just for the normal one, if you just kind of it also has like a generic set of commands that it will just do, and it's like you can just kind of, go with that. But what makes that game super fucking cool is how granular you can get and just the ways that you can tune it to make your squad just fucking perfect. There is there's like an arena thing where you have to clear like 30 rounds of
Oh,
different
yeah.
challenges, and that's the one where I found like that is the one where you really have to like get in and get everything super specific and like really care about your team comp. And making that an optional side thing, I think kind of gets them the best of both worlds, where it is definitely there if you want to do it, but you don't have to finish the game.
Yeah.
It's super cool. I don't know if the ogre battle games like do that at all. I've never played any of those, but goddamn, Unicorn Overlord is fucking cool.
I think they have something similar, but yeah, I've also never played one of them. I've only seen like some gameplay of I think the first level.
Cool fucking game. People should play that. Danny, bring it on home. What is wrapping us up?
Wrapping us up, it's a big year for Time Powers. It's a big year for Wells. It also seems to be a big year for maps. Uh, and specifically, the map in Animal Well.
It's a map in a
Uh,
well.
A map
Whoa.
in a well. More specifically, you get an item at a certain point in Animal Well, which is a pencil. And much like the innovation in Prince of Persia with the maps, and you can take pictures. The pencil lets you edit your map. You can actually just freehand write notes in your map. You can draw pictures. You can I would pencil in the paths of different shortcuts through the map, and it is just the ability to take notes on your map.
That's cool.
You
Yeah.
telling me that Animal Well is actually an Etrian Odyssey?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's a superb tool for a Metroidvania that is just jam-packed with all kinds of little bits that you want to avoid, like that damn terrible dog.
Fuck that
Or
dog.
or
Best
if you
character,
want
though.
to there's like a section of the map that's filled with different pipes that you can hop into a bubble and get transported to other rooms, and some of those pipes will send you to fully other sides of the map, and you can mark with your pencil which of these pipes sends you where, it's pretty great.
I do.
Yeah.
Do like drawing on maps. Love innovations in the Metroidvania genre.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to bring us to end on Best Weapon or Tool, which means next time we're going back in time, Year of Time, so that we
Jason-
can talk about our best games that did not come out in 2024.
So
we
the
will-
best games that
of
we're going
all
to talk
time.
about
Shovel
this year.
Knight. It's Shovel Knight of the year every year. But we will see you next time.